Welcome to your Inspirational Astrology Horoscope for Monday, December 14th, 2020. I'm Astrologer David Palmer, the Leo King, here to illuminate the collective consciousness. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for being a part of HighVibe.tv. Of course, today is a special solar eclipse horoscope for your Monday. If you didn't know, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is what I do every day on HighVibe.tv, and you can subscribe and get access to all my weekly content, my daily astrology horoscopes, and of course, my special intuitive reports every week, my special tarot reports every week. And of course, I just did an awesome paid video, which is pretty cool. You can check it out. It's called 2021 Shattered Reality. You have a way out. It's a 4-hour and 50-minute video of me covering this solar eclipse, how it's tied to the Mayan energy, and it's tied to way more. I'm going to go a little bit into that today. I cover the Grand Conjunction and all of 2021 and all my predictions and how to get through it, and there's a lot in there, so you're definitely not going to want to miss it. Just go to highvibe.tv, go to the paid video section, you'll see it right there. You can purchase, and then of course you can watch it on our apps. You can watch it on highvibe.tv, or you can watch on your mobile browser or any browser there is, all there. So hope everybody's doing wonderful. It's good to be here with you all, and we are here. It is solar eclipse time. And this is a total solar eclipse. So this is definitely going to be, well, it's, in many ways, I just got this really deep, insight as it's been a really weird Sunday night for me. I've been talking astrology with my brother, Christopher Witecki. It was like old days. We had like a 5-hour phone call. But there was other things that came out after the call for me. And it's like, if you watch Deep Astrology this week, coming into this eclipse, right? The sorrow cycle that we're in of the eclipse is number 142. So this eclipse is part of the eclipse cycle. The last time we had this solar eclipse energy, a total one in Sag, in this kind of vibe of that cycle, unless you understand sorrow cycles, I'm not here to, go too deep into it. It might be too much math for people. I don't know. But the big deal about it really is that it's connected to December 4th of 2002. And I think that what I've gathered from this, before we go into the chart and so forth, is, guess what? It's time to rewrite the story of your life from that last 18 years. And that can be a little scary, but we have to have faith, right? Sag. And there's a lot of aspects going on in this eclipse, and there's a lot coming up in the astrology transit-wise in this week. So this is definitely not just, it's another eclipse or something. No. And I would say this one has, like 10, 20 times more power than I think many people realize. But we have to rewrite the story of our lives. And we have to come into new stories. And we have to let go of old stories. And I'm looking at this eclipse as a great purge. I mean, it is a South Node eclipse. Let's not forget. So, structured reality gone. Here we are. That's kind of funny. Shattered reality. I said structured reality gone. Shattered reality, maybe, yeah. So here we are. This new moon, solar eclipse in Sagittarius, going to be at 23 degrees of Sag. And I think that it's quite an interesting degree to have this at, right? Remember that the last new moon, so exactly a month ago, was in Scorpio right there at that 23 degree mark, right? So we finally brought the sun and the moon back to this point, and that was a good solar eclipse, new moon that we've come out of this month. Although you would think, it's so weird when you think that the world, if you get really caught up in the media, remember this is a Neptune, which rules the media, in square to the north and south nodes. And if you don't know what those are, remember that these are the nodal knots. Node in Latin is knot. Okay? Think of these as these invisible knots. And whenever you see the sun and the moon meet by one of these knots, whether it's in the south or the north, you're going to have an eclipse, whether it's a lunar or solar eclipse. That's how we know and predict where eclipses are going to be and what times they're going to be and so forth. And it's important to note when you have the lunar nodes in square to Neptune, while we're trying to rewrite these stories in Sag, and let go of old beliefs, even beliefs that have been projected upon us by gurus, religions, all these things, and especially the media, movies. Have you noticed in the last 18 years, movies have just really gone down the tubes? The stories aren't as good. It's because they brought out new stories that they wanted us to all buy. And with Neptune there, right? It was like programming. This is a solar eclipse to deprogram. Deprogram the beliefs of the way the world is. And the reason why I say that is because Mercury, with the conjunction here to the South Node, is going to be an exact trine to Mars at 20 of Aries, which is still in shadow. Remember, Mars went retrograde at 28 degrees of Aries, went back to 15 degrees, and it's trying to get there, but it's very Martian energy. Mercury's trine Mars is awesome. You know, there's definitely a pep in the step. There's that, honestly, just even with all this fire energy of a solar eclipse in Sag, it's like, woo, all right. You got to have that hope, and you got to have that fire, and you got to deprogram, because Mercury is squaring Neptune. I'll change the color for that, right? So Mercury square Neptune. It's deprogramming our brains. And with this South Node here, it's a great purge, right? So it really is this great purge. And I think that with Venus here and Juno, this is awesome, right? In Scorpio, making great aspects to Jupiter, Saturn, as they are on the edge of the cliff. Remember, Saturn's coming into Aquarius this week, and so is Jupiter. Like, these two are moving fast, and this is the end of Saturn and Capricorn story. And you got to look at the last 3 years, too, and realize there was a lot of, I don't want to say pain, because if I look back on it, I'm grateful for Saturn and Capricorn. It's done a lot of things about making the right choices in your life, and then seeing the things that the universe is saying is not part of your destiny. That's not part of my destiny, right? It's not part of the story. Okay. But with Venus and Jupiter, they're like, you know, they're like kind of like holding hands, like, oh my God. They're the two benefics, and they're in signs they don't like to be. Remember that Jupiter is not happy being in Capricorn. It's at fall position, right? We just take a look here at our scores here through our essential dignities. We are not doing too hot with Venus there in Scorpio, -1, and of course with Jupiter there, it's at -9, right? But they're holding each other's hands through this one, being like, let's get through this cliff. Remember, Saturn's ruling the zodiac at +8. And we got Mars putting up a fight at +5. Sun, not doing too bad there in Sag. Plus, it's got a nice trine to Mars. So if you add the Sun and Mars, you get 9. If you add Saturn, it's 8. So at the end of the day, it is this energy of the Sun and Mars that are helping out. Plus, look at Mercury. It's at -10 points. It's in its detriment. Not happy here. So, you know, it's kind of where you're going to have to trust the awareness of what you love, what brings you life, and understanding it's a North Node in Gemini. It's the truth, and we all have to weed through the weirdest things in the world that are very hard to understand or almost seem like we are psychologically insane. Like we are in a Neptune mental hospital in many ways, right? For the true beliefs and the true truth that we see. Because the only truth that there really is the one that we see through, not the one that's just being told to us, especially by the television. I'm looking at TV, that was why I just looked at it. And I think that, you know, or movies or all the programming that's been going down in our lives for a long time. This is going to blow our minds. Why? Well, Mercury's on that South Node. Sag. It's too much info, too much stuff for Mercury to understand. But that Venus-Jupiter, I'm telling you, it's a beautiful thing. With Saturn there, and with Venus and Juno together, there is this quality in this thing where the risk in life is about intimacy with learning to receive, to have a good life, and to see where that is, and to see that there's massive opportunities. Jupiter and Venus in a sextile, the two benefics, and this happens to be a solar eclipse in Sag. Let's not forget. So, it is a benefic sign to happen, although there's a south node there, so we can sometimes get caught in the illusion of wanting to keep playing that old story, but I think that we're over the stories of our life that are not taking us to the truth, to the excitement, to the stimulation, and to the raw identity that we have been redoing this year. Remember, Mars has not retrograded fully through the sign of Aries since 1941. So this Mars shadow, it's done with the retrograde, but it's not done with the shadow. And here it is trining Mercury, and it's saying, let's rewrite this understanding in our minds and have the courage to question, because Mars is making great aspects to the nodes. Mars is in a trine to the south node and in a sextile. It's finishing that great aspect. And at the same token, we can't forget that, Black Moon in Lilith there, 23 degrees, is in exact quincunx to this solar eclipse. Like, this is about building a better life for you, that you have to open the story up and close the story that's not as good, and close the delusional stories, and close the programmed stories that you feel that you must. You're going to break the spell. This is so Sleeping Beauty. I can't even fucking get any more clear than that. It is Sleeping Beauty to the max. Because it's like, right? It's that kiss that wakes her up. But there was like some pre-planned, malefic energy of Saturn and Pluto this year. Jupiter with Pluto. Jupiter now meeting up with Saturn. There's a malefic energy that has been trying to control our lives. It's pretty clear if you have not seen it through the reality right now, and you really believe the falsehood of this Neptunian square to the story that's being put out to the world that they're trying to have you buy. It's like it's crazy watching as an astrologer and being like, okay, South Node and Sag, and it's square Neptune, and the story we're being told is not the story that's really happening. They're trying to have you buy it and eat it and believe it and program you into it. Especially with Mercury when it's at its detriment and it's on the South Node. But Mars is trying to get being like, be a warrior and define your own life. Define your own story. Define your own truth. See through this fog. See through this fog. But also, encapsulate the spiritual truth, your intuition that knows the story that is true. That will not be seen in places that you are used to being programmed to see that message, because those places do not hold the light. And what is this new moon about? It's about your light work. With Saturn at the end of Capricorn, and we are seeing this over the next 72 hours come into Aquarius. Okay? Your biggest spiritual lesson was pretty deep. I'm not going to lie. It was pretty deep. Oh, my Apple Pencil's dead. It's going to charge it for a second. But what it was at the last degree, in the last 3 years, it has been the question of whether or not you believed, especially with all this Jupiterian energy and Jupiter in Capricorn and South Node with Jupiter solar eclipse was the last solar eclipse to happen during this time. The last South Node solar eclipse. Although this is a total one. So this one's happening over Chile, and this one's a big deal because it's total. It's part of that Saros 142 cycle, if you look up Saros 142. But it's dramatically about remembering in yourself the light within yourself. Did you fall for the illusion that this darkness is going to take over the world? Did you really buy that? Did you really buy that? Did you fall for the most lame? Like, let's be real. The dark is lame. The dark is lame. The dark is weak. Let's be real. But for some reason, they did a good job. Everybody questioned it, including the most positive, high-vibe, spiritual people on the planet, including myself. There are moments where I'm like, well, I know I predicted all this shit, but I'm still saying that it was like, oh, did I really, is the light going to not make it through this? But you know, I had a good conversation with Christopher Witecki tonight, and he said something, and I'm going to give him credit for this. He goes, because we were talking about movie culture and how that has been swaying all to the stuff we're even seeing in the world. It's crazy. The stories they're trying to tell you with these intellectual people that aren't even intellectual, right? That are on television and telling you how to be, and most of them are reading a prompter, right? But it's so funny. It's like every movie the dark is trying to program us with still ends with a happy ending. So it's like they just screwed themselves over. And then I told Chris, I was like, how funny is it with all this Capricorn energy? It's like the dark uses astrology too, right? They know. They're like, but they're willing to take that 3 years of darkness. They're willing to take the 2020 of Saturn and Pluto, Saturn and Jupiter, Jupiter, Pluto, and the eclipses, and all the crazy shit that we've seen this year, and a Venus retrograde over the North Node that closed the eclipse cycle from 2012 to 2004 of that Venus eclipse cycle, which we won't see. That's a 120-year cycle that we won't see in a set of two. It's like they'll take that moment as much as they can, even though they know they're going to fail. It's like they'll take the fear. They eat off fear. It's reptilian energy. And this is you having to let go of all that reptilian energy. You having to let go of all that fucking dark shit that has been just, you know, it's like being watching a crocodile fucking eat and just burp all over us. It's like, okay, I'm done. Wasn't fun. Sorry, I'm not into watching crocodiles fucking, you know, might have been cool to see a couple cans that burped out, you know, but I'm over it. We're all over it. We're all done. This solar eclipse, though, is saying that in order to get through this, we got to open up the new story, the new doors, and let the story down and purge the story that is no longer serving our collective and no longer serving your own life. And it deals heavily with Jupiter, because these two are going to come together, of course, and they are technically together during this eclipse. I mean, they're less than 1 degree apart. That's 56 minutes, 28:56, and this is 29:44. That's less than a degree. You know, it's kind of like high school when you're like making out on the couch, clothes are on, but you're on top of each other. So, I mean, I know everybody's all like, Aquarius, Jupiter, Saturn. Jupiter, Saturn are in Capricorn together right now. You know what I mean? Like, they might not be dead conjunct, but we're talking about, you know, let me pluck a little hair out of here. You know what I mean? Like, there you go. That, they're on top of each other, okay, from Earth's point of view. And I think that it's important to note, what a way to close out these hundreds of years of Earth, Jupiter, Saturns. What a way to just close out this dark cycle that has been to try. Because the dark tries. But the dark never wins. And this is the ultimate lightworker test of all. It's okay that we all had our moments. Most of us got through. But I don't care. You can use your pride as much as you want, and I'm a Leo king, right? I fucking have all this Leo in my chart, and I'm like Mr. Pride, Mr. fucking, oh yeah, fucking, and I'll admit, I don't care how much high vibe I try to push, there's been a lot of moments where I've been challenged. And there's been a lot of moments where I think we all as light workers have been challenged, that the dark has done its best to suppress us, to push us down, to push down our stories of positivity and the light that we've been holding on, especially I know there's a lot of you out there and a lot of people that I know out there that have been holding this light and knowing this truth for fucking over a decade. Plus, some of them 30 years, some of them more. And I'm just here to remind you all that this solar eclipse is keeping that story, but in many ways, we lost that story here. What happened? It's like, what happened to the spiritual community? It's like kind of crazy. Who got caught up in the spell? No judgment. No judgment. But who got caught up in the spell? Because that was that Mercury retrograde this year and last year in Pisces. It was Chiron finishing in Pisces, moving to Aries. And how ironic, too, that this solar eclipse is bringing us with Chiron that is stationary and ready to come direct right after this eclipse. Oops, wrong chart. So, talk about feeling like, are you confident in the direction of your life? Probably not. The solar eclipse is squaring Neptune. Mercury squared Neptune, but there's all the Mars trine stuff, and there's more powerful of a Mars trine on Mercury trine and the Sun and Moon trine of this total solar eclipse that you're going to have to follow Mars here in Aries. Courage, strength, and remembering that fire, remember that cardinal direction, and take action in your life. Venus and Jupiter with Saturn and Juno, all in sextile. This is beautiful. We're getting to exit this horrible story, and I'm not going to be honest with you. It's going to take a minute for the whole story. It's not like this is just like, but at the same time, I do think that, with North Node Gemini, you can flip the script quick, but there's still going to be remnants, and it's going to take a while because it's not like everybody follows astrology out there. We're working our hardest off out there. I've been working my hardest off, I know, at least for a decade plus, and I know there's others too. And I know that all of us that follow astrology and all of us that follow the divine are all like looking around like, come on, people, wake the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, come on, don't fall for this, please. But then we all kind of had to battle it too. And then we all got shamed if we questioned it. And you should, if anybody's shaming you for questioning anything right now with a North Node in Gemini, they are from, I hate to say it, the dark. And it's just truth. And that's the highest truth there is. The highest truth there is it's okay to question. The highest truth there is it's okay to make sure that we know what we are being told is really truthful. It's okay to question. That's North Node in Gemini. And with Mercury here, you're going to see on this solar eclipse this week with Jupiter leaving, and mainly Saturn though. Saturn leaving Capricorn, Jupiter leaving Capricorn, Mars getting ready to square Pluto, a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction on the 21st. Mercury, trine Mars. The nodes are with Mercury. Neptune is squaring the nodes. Venus is moving into Sag after this eclipse. I mean, I'm going to be real with you. This week is going to be the biggest shame fest and the biggest projection of the spell the dark will ever give to light workers. And you're going to have to hold the line. And you got to ask yourself, I'm going to challenge every light worker out there just because I'm going to be honest. Are you going to go play that story they're trying to tell us on television? You're going to follow it? Are you going to totally sag it off and be like, no, it's okay. I have to do this. Like, I'm just doing this because whatever. Or I have to follow this story. And especially, we have the holidays coming up. And it makes me kind of sad to see people like just falling for the story. Like, well, in order to do this, I'm going to have to do that. And, this is so Capricorn shit that it's like, you know what? Capricorn laughs. And I'm not going to I'm not putting anybody down. But I'm just going to give you the truth of Capricorn. Capricorn laughs at those that don't give authority to themselves and follow the authority, right? Saturn sets up rules and is like, oh, these people fell for them. They're all fucking the sheep, I guess. They don't want to be sheep herders. They want to be sheep. And I'm just trying to just tell you, like, if you have that much of a miss, and it's going to be hard too, because this is opposite Cancer, right? Like, all this Capricorn energy is where Cancer lies, right? And that deals the family and stuff, And I know that people want to go do the things in their families and do all that shit. But, if you're in a position to where you're, like, looked at as the plague, you might as well go be Aurora. And, on her 16th birthday, she's going to be pricked. It's so funny. She could have stayed at home the whole fucking time with her parents. And on the day of her 16th birthday, they should have kept those fucking little fairy fucking people away from her because they're the ones who fucked it up. They're the ones who turned on their little wands and tried to fucking make magic, and the fucking Black Crow saw it and went, ah! And we got fucking Maleficent, and fucking they found her, and fucking she ended up getting pinpricked. Are you on this eclipse gonna just fucking follow the whole narrative? The spiritual narrative that's not spiritual, the false spiritual narrative that, oh, you're a plague that spreads plague. Really? Really? Is that what you really do as a spiritual being of love and light? Is that what a light worker does? Oh yeah, I just go around spreading plague all around people. That's just my fucking job. No! That's not what you are. That's not who, that is not divine. That is not divine consciousness. That is not divine love. That is not divine anything. That is trying to sell the story that we are all some plague. It's a joke. I warned you all about this fucking last year. I had to put multiple videos out, and then I had to make videos of me making it out because people still didn't fucking remember or hear the message or didn't want to believe it. That I said that this shit was going to be here to control you. And this is way before even we knew about this shit. And I said it for years. And you know what? This solar eclipse is about who's from the light. Who's from where the South Node is in Sag. Who's from that galactic center. Who's from there that came here to bring it where the North Node is. Which is over by Sirius. It's passing that. It's coming into the great area of where Lemuria is. And the Pleiades. And all these amazing energy source of light. And that is not some sort of plagued energy. The plague is the dark that is trying to plague the light by saying that it's the plague. I am telling you, that's how it's done. That's how the dark works. And so I ask you, if that's real, are you really buying that fucking story? And if you own that story with Mars and trine to all this, you're buying that story and you're gonna, I have to. I told you all, don't take planes during South Node and Sag, or this time. It's not a good time for plane travel. Okay? There's a lot of gnarly stuff coming up with this Mars transit and trine to this solar eclipse. Dealing with you-know-what. Dun, 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 dun. Boots on the ground. Gemini, walk, car, bicycle, skateboard. That's life right now, not this journey. Because you are buying, put it this way, this is a crazy way to look at it. You are buying the journey that they are selling you by going with it. Imagine if, because this last eclipse, okay, that was in this sorrow cycle, was December 4th of 2002. Then 18 months prior, same sorrow cycle, June of 2001. We had 911, right? Then we had TSA and Iraq. I thought we were going into Afghanistan. No, we're going to Iraq. What? We all went with that story. I remember when Loose Change came out in 2003, I was like, instantly I knew that was the truth right away. Once I saw all the evidence and shit, let's be honest, we all got caught with that false flag shit pretty big. And then we owned it and went into war, right? Let's not do that again. But now, this one is going to be flipped. There is a dark force that is using us. And they're using us to create this story that we do not need to own. We have to be the courage to define our own story, what we are. I define myself as that I am not a plague. That I am a child of God. That I am a child of the heart. That I am my inner child that expresses and lives itself. That's what I am. I don't know what you are. I don't know what story you want to go write. that I have not been pricked at 16 years old, that I don't need to wait for some fucking, well, I guess it was flipped, some, Aurora to come and save me. Which is so funny. The thing that they're trying to say is going to save us is 90% effective from something that's 99% not going to do you out. You think that math makes sense? That sounds like some Sag math, South Node Sag math. Let's take something that's not as effective and tell you it's going to save you from something that's 99% not going to ruin the world. So, oh my God. I'm popping off on some truth. Because you know what? I'm not afraid. There's a solar eclipse to test about if you are afraid. If you are afraid of what? What are you afraid of? Let's see. What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of, one, going against that story that's been programmed with a solar eclipse square Neptune? Too sensitive? You too sensitive now? You afraid? A solar eclipse trine Mars and Aries, exactly. Do you have the courage to define your life and the story of your life? And it sucks because anybody that's in the path that's going to buy the story, like, you might just have to wait for them a little bit of time until they get woken up here. Because this is going to be the Dark's greatest try to sell the full story this week. Hard. Which is going to be the biggest lie ever told, right? Or the biggest exposing of a lie. We're about to see the biggest exposing of a lie and then the biggest suppression of that lie. Because Pluto at 23 is in semi-sextile to this solar eclipse. And we have Jupiter and Saturn meeting in Capricorn at the last degree, the last stand. Jupiter is under the spell of Saturn, right? And we have a south node, and we have a south node solar eclipse in Sagittarius, which rules Jupiter, and Jupiter's in Saturn's world, and Jupiter's with Saturn and Pluto. And Pluto is the secret plans. It's the secrets. It's the hidden plans and agenda, and using the amplification of Jupiter to try and sell you a story to keep you in a control state. And you have to define your own life. So don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of life. And with the quincunx of Black Moon Lilith, I love that the badass bitches, Black Moon Lilith and Aries, are in 23, and we got Pluto 23, but that trine of Black Moon Lilith to Pluto is like, I'm going to expose that shit by knowing what's quality. I know the value. And then there's Aries. Like, I will cause chaos to your secret plans. Because that's not truth. And there's Mars there. Mars actually is like happy with Aries. And Chiron's about to come direct. You know how you heal yourself? Courage, confidence in the identity and understanding of the road and the power and the strength that you have within and the direction that you're going to go. And where did Saturn and Pluto meet on January 12th of 2020? Oh, 22 Capricorn with Mercury and the Sun and Ceres, if you want to count Ceres in that one. It was pretty crazy. But still, Mercury, the Sun, Saturn, Pluto. January 12th, 2020. One time Saturn and Pluto met. And with Jupiter nearby, that was the biggest control, with a south node, with Jupiter. The biggest lie ever told. The biggest lie to control you ever told. And this eclipse trying to end that story. And I'm here to tell you that the only way that story ends is for those who don't buy it anymore and those who identify differently. And that those that change the story of their life and purge this story. And sorry, there's another story. There's another story, and you don't need to keep being programmed by the story. And Venus sextile with Juno to Jupiter and Saturn are saying that you do have to, in some weird kind of way, find the partnerships in your life that align with that same understanding and are willing to go create the story that you're going to all create together. But there's going to be some people that are going to hesitate. They're going to be too sensitive. They're not going to know how to deal with this. They're gonna keep buying it, and they're gonna keep, they are the ones selling the story by embodying the story. That's the weirdness and the weirdness of all this, right? We all fell for TSA. We all fell that, gee, many Christmas box cutters. Fuck. I guess I'm not gonna be able to bring shampoo on anymore unless it's in a little fucking thing. Nothing ever happened. No, we ended up chasing a bunch of people and killing their families and stuff in all these countries for fucking the last 18 years. So, I am excited as hell for this solar eclipse. You know why? Because this is where you can rewrite your story and go into the truth and see through the truth, and you can see through the lie now. And you can see through the lie when you look at how you've been programmed and you learn to deprogram your mind and deprogram your beliefs. But you got to be careful, because the closest people, Venus and Scorpio with Juno there, that you have got, feel that you've given power to, or they've given power to you, or whatever. And if they're trying to sell you on that Neptunian mainstream story, that's an illusion and the biggest lie with a semi-square to Uranus, right? That 45-degree angle. I hate to say it, but are you going to tie your destiny in with that story because of those people at this moment? Or can you break away and learn that this Jupiter-Saturn in Aquarius coming this week after this eclipse is learning, okay, I got to connect with people who understand the story. And you know what? I know that destiny always brings lines where things can cross back again, and see if they're going to be with you at that time. I can't give you the exact time frame on that. Maybe it'll be when Saturn and Uranus make a square here coming up in 2021 in February, or maybe it's when Jupiter squares Uranus. But I'm trying to tell you that the crazy science experiments are going to go bad. Uranus square Saturn, Uranus square Jupiter. I'm sorry to say. So be very careful. You might need to rethink your whole story. You might be somebody who is in the line to go on the crazy science experiment. Jupiter square Uranus goes really bad. Lots of hope for a science experiment, and Uranus and Taurus is at fall. It's not going to do what it's supposed to do. And Saturn square Uranus? Nope. Bad experiment gone bad. That's like when you start hearing at the science laboratory, "Beep, beep, beep," and then out of nowhere you're like, what's going on? It's like, get out now! It's leaking! What? Get out now! Close the hatches! Put on your suit! Get out of there! It's just some more truth. This is your light worker greatest test of your life. Right now. Bring the light back. The light is way showers. A light worker is the way that shows the light. And you got to have courage more than ever now. And you can't be afraid of the control. And you can't be afraid of the systems. And you can't be afraid of what seems like this big wall of fucking rules and all these things that are going to fucking take you down. Can't be afraid of any of it. You can't. You're giving up your soul. People got to rewrite even what the understanding of high vibe is. It's not this sitting on a fucking rock meditating thing. High vibe is keeping your soul number one and not giving it away to a fucking story that is fucking trying to take it away from you. Two, I would say that high vibe is living your most highest being and just being a light worker, and however you see it in your most unique way. It's not one size fits all. It's not the same color. It's not the same vibe. It's not the same anything. The highest vibe is your own unique vibration and your powerful, unique story in this beautiful world that we live in. Not a story where we're all living the same story, looking the same, starting to wear the same things, The way that I see people now starting to make like it's like they fucking are, like they're like enjoying this fucking new story. Like, this is the story you're gonna buy, really? I'm not saying that the old story was better. I'm just saying that we still have a new story to write. And do we really want to write this story? Is this the first draft? And we're gonna, same way with this you-know-what that they just passed, that they want everybody to take. You think that the first draft's gonna be good? Oh, no. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna take the first draft. The first draft of anything sucks. You really gonna write the first draft and publish it? You really gonna write your post without spell checking it? You're really gonna but this is the story? This is the norm? Like, this is my life. I'm a fucking divine spiritual light being that is really a spreader of darkness and plague and death. Really? Wow, I thought we were light workers here. I thought we were here to bring the positivity and bring the light and bring the truth. That's why 4 years ago I did Age of Deception. Why Rising Through the Darkness? And I said Rising Through the Darkness is 2018 through 2023. And we are at the peak of that coming into 2021 here. And so you got to rise through this darkness. And this darkness is the story that is being projected upon you through Neptunian ways. Media. Subliminal media. Media that has been set up in movies and music and film. Y'all know I DJ, right? I've been a DJ for over 12 years now. I've been in the club scene since 2004, where I started promoting. I couldn't believe that there's DJs making tracks that are trying to even make this story happen. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I ain't playing that fucking track. So this is your greatest test of your light work of your life. And laughing at the darks try. They're weak. They tried. If you can't see it when you watch it, or you're on your phone and you can't just look at it and be like, wow. That is the lamest story ever told. Lamest. With so much not factual energy. Just take that. Just take one little bit of data with me. Something that's 90 to 95% effective is going to help something that is 99% not going to do you out. Isn't that us dropping 5%? Possibly 10%? That seems like really smart math. You're going to have to drop all the parts of the story and how it should look. Because what should look has been programmed to. And is being taught to you by others. And this is where you have to find your own independent soul again and fire and burn it and be that light and be that truth and do it and wrap it and be in it all the way and not and laugh at it. And you know what? It's going to suck. There's going to be people that are going to fucking buy it. And this is the holidays. And you know what? They're going to be, this is where you seal the deal of buying this false narrative, or you seal the deal and saying, hell no, I'm writing my own story. I know the truth. I know the light that I am. I know the true essential being that I am, as just essential always. There was no such thing as you're not essential and you're essential now. No, you were always essential on this planet. You are always essential in the divine's eyes. You are always essential in yourself, right? Aren't you essential to yourself to keep going in life and to still live a beautiful life and to love and to express, and Venus and Jupiter, to have a good life, to have great things? So the partners we choose, the friendships we choose, All these things come into this. Even the family members. It's going to be a tough one of your light test. This is where, in the Matrix, when Neo has to see the architect. And the architect plays 6 lives of his, where he was freaking out about the choice that he had to make. And what was that choice? Either A, if you want to keep Zion alive, you walk down that left door, we kill off Zion, and we leave you with a couple humans to procreate and start it all, the Matrix all over again. We reset. Or your girlfriend, Trinity's not doing too well, and you save her and you follow love like an idiot, and we're going to destroy you, and it's all over. It's that 7th time. You think that's a coincidence in that movie? That's, in numerology, 7 is the spiritual number. It is the number of the divine, okay? He chooses love. He does not buy the story that the architect's telling him that they're going to destroy everything. And it looks like it. The sentinels come down and everything right there at the end. He loses his eyes there, but he's still able to see through. And he's able to go to the mainframe computer and make a deal and fucking end the whole fucking thing. But there's a Matrix 4 to go see what it is. And I guarantee you Matrix 4 is going to be all about how to wake everybody up. Because I guarantee you that when Neo went through that Matrix and got out, and when he believed in the path of love, and he was still able to fix it all, that at the end, when he connected to the mainframe computer, that he injected light into that computer system. Not a virus or plague, but light and love. And that computer is cold. And the only way to wake it up would be the opposite of a virus, but love. What's the cure to a computer virus? Or whatever we see in the world? Love. What is their antidote right now? Coldness. Literally what they're shipping it in is cold. It's negative what? 70 degrees like Celsius? That sounds like some reptilian shit. Cold? Let me go inject something really cold into you. Okay. All right. You can believe the mad scientist with Saturn square Uranus all you want. That starts this week. You can believe the Jupiter square Uranus science. Like, all that. You really think science? They don't even know shit. They've changed their story throughout the centuries forever. While the true natural philosophers and natural science that uses the divine have been saying the same thing for thousands of years and have predicted everything to be correct without having to use all this crazy other crap and mess up the system and mess everything up in life. Don't let that be your new religion either. Talk about new religions with South Node Sag. It would be the worst new religion. You know what this new religion is? What CNN, what all these networks are trying to tell you what you should believe in. That's the new religion they're trying to sell. And I'm telling you not to buy it off astrology. Off astrology. Because that's not truth. That's all shoulds, coulds, woulds. Let's go through the experience. This is like going to a fucking theme park, which, by the way, are all closed down. Going to a theme park and being like, we are going to try this ride out. It looks great. It's going to do wonderful. But, I don't know. You want to go on the ride with me? It's like, I don't know. I'm okay. Like, I'd like for you to actually, like, maybe take some time and actually make sure the seatbelts work and make sure people don't fly out of this thing. No, we're going to make sure that you're the one that makes sure that we see if you're going to fucking be okay. Really? That's going to be your story? You think that's a thrill? Wow. Okay. Are you really going to fall for it with Chiron on the last day of it being retrograde, right? It's stationary. You really going to fall for Chiron here? Are you really that wounded? identity-wise and courage-wise, and you've defined the story from the weirdest story ever, are you really Quasimodo? And you're like, you know what, Quasi, you're going to always stay up in that tower. You're never going to find love. You're ugly. You hang out with gargoyles. So I got you something real good. It's really good. I don't even know what to give you all, but or to give Quasimodo right now. Here. You're kind of dumb, Quasi, so here's a sticker that's not that great. I would love for you to eat it. Here you go. Really? That was pretty fucking good toss. So, that's what I have to say for this solar eclipse. And I would say that one of the secrets embedded into this eclipse, one of the greatest secrets, is Venus and Juno with Jupiter and Juno. Jupiter and Juno are in signs, and well, Jupiter and Venus are in signs that they are not happy being in. And why is that so important? Hold on. Oh, man. Here we go. Goddess of marriage and childbirth. But she becomes the goddess of all the goddesses, right? Juno is certainly the divine protectress of the community, who shows both a sovereignty and a fertility character, often associated with a military one. So when you see that shit this week, in the next couple weeks here, the military one, don't, believe it or not, might be protecting you. She was present in many towns of ancient Italy. Yes, we know about that. Yes, we know about that. Yes, we know about Juno. Yes, I know. Lots of Junos. Juno and Jupiter. The divine couple received from Greece, its matrimonial implications, thence bestowing on Juno the role of tutelary goddess of marriage. The association of Juno and Jupiter is the most ancient in Latin theology. It's a glimpse into original Latin mythology. The local goddess Fortuna is represented as nursing two infants, one male, one female, namely Jove, Jupiter, and Juno. It seems fairly safe to assume that from the earliest times they were identified by their own proper names, and since they got them, they were never changed through the course of history. They were called Jupiter and Juno. These gods were the most ancient deities of every Latin town. Preneste preserved divine filiation and infancy as the sovereign god, and his Paredra Juno have a mother who is the primordial goddess Fortuna, right? But many, okay, so however, anyway, Jupiter and Juno. the ultimate lovers. Juno finally finds, or Jupiter finally finds his girl. She's protector. She's about marriage. It's the ultimate alignment. And I hate to tell you all this, but if you're in your partnerships or you're dating somebody and it's not like this anymore, you gotta leave, because I guarantee you the story inside your truth and their story inside their truth, one of you all are not seeing the truth. One of you all has bought it, or you both bought the story together, and that's not what you want to do. And this is going to be so important about what this secret of this solar eclipse is, with Jupiter and Juno in sextile, right? Like, Jupiter's at 2856 on this eclipse, and Juno is 2840, right there, approaching. And there's Venus, 2844. There's Jupiter, 2856. And look at 2944. And we're going to see Venus and Juno come together to the last degree and meet with Saturn in sextile to make it real. So it's like, this is very powerful about the people we choose. And you gotta ask yourself too, because they give each other power and they give each other this, like Jupiter might be the great big god, right? The Zeus energy, all that, but without Juno, he doesn't have that power. And this is about love again, and love is the only thing that is of the light. And what you see in the world, if it was truly from the divine and it was God, God did not put anything on this earth that was not meant to be about not loving, ever. And anybody that tries to tell you that, and anybody tries to use this whole excuse, like, no, it's love to do all this other shit right now, that is forcing you not to do love, that's forcing you to stay away from love, to be afraid of love. If you are afraid of love right now, or you're afraid of, I don't know, I gotta like make sure that I test the person if they're safe for love. Oh my God. Did we really write that? Did we really fuck ourselves over to believe that? The dark is the only thing in the world that would ever sell a story like that. I'm sorry to tell you. And if you want to rebuttal me all you want, please write in the comments as many as you want. And please try and give me a valid reason in all of history, in all of time, in all of the universe, that love should be stopped. Please. Please. Because do you think that God has ever told you not to love? Or show compassion? Or God is here to shame you into not loving? Really? The fact that I know so many people that are afraid to love anybody right now, and I'm not even talking romantic, right? Family, all these kind of things. Afraid of love. Till they've been tested by something that goes bucking up your nose, punctures your fucking brain, blood barrier shit. Look that shit up. Why are they doing that when you can finally spit in it now? Oh, and take your DNA that way too. Some dark shit going on. And if you bought that story and you're lost in that story, I feel sorry for you. You know, and that's just me being honest. Like, I don't feel like negative towards you or anything. I just feel sorry. I really do feel sorry, because even like, well, for those that are having a hard time with this stuff still, I had to use this story because people didn't believe me. Okay? It's still up, thank God. Fauci gives okay to Tinder. I'm not saying go on Tinder, but I'm just using the description of love. Gives okay to Tinder in coronavirus crisis if you're willing to take risk. That sounds like very end of Saturn and Capricorn. You need to take risks to love? Okay. said Americans can meet people they matched with on a dating app if they were willing to take a risk with their health and the well-being of others. That the level of risk involved would depend on how intimate people were. According to a transcript of the three-part interview, Dr. Fauci published in Vanity Fair what people should say to matches on dating apps. You know, that's tough because it's what's called relative risk. If you really feel that you don't want to have any part of this, will you remain 6 feet away, wear a mask, do all the things that we talk about in the guidelines? If you're willing to take a risk, and you know, everybody has their own tolerance for risks, you could figure out if you want to meet someone. And it depends on the level of interaction that you want to have. So we've shut down the whole world. We've shut down the whole world. But it's okay to take the risk for love. Love always wins some way. But everything else does it. You got to shut down your business. You got to shut down schools. You can't go to a family. You can't go meet anybody else. You can't do this. But Fauci is telling you it's okay to go on a fucking Tinder date and fucking, you know what? And fucking go fuck. As long as you have that choice, he gives you the authority to make that choice and see how, but it's right now that's not okay. To do everything you can. I gotta go get tested before I see my family, and I gotta do what? Oh my God. Really? Are you that person? Right now? Are you that person? Did you fall that stupid for the story? Like that bad? But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're okay. As long as it's fucking about dating and your own choice, which is all the truthers have been just trying to say the whole time. Please just give us the choice of life. Let's give us the choice of life. Life. That's the key to Sag. The belief and the hope of life that comes after Scorpio. And who's the Scorpio that's trying to tell you to not do all this? Look him up. Who's falsifying who he is at the moment, which he does not have that title yet. Think about that shit. Who has a Sag rising with the South Node there? Try to push the story bigger than ever. If you're looking for a friend, sit in a room and put on a mask. And, chat a bit. And you know what I mean? You know who else says you know a lot? You know what I mean? Wow. If you want to get a little more intimate, well, that's your choice regarding a risk. Really? This is Newsweek. This is all over. I can show you 15 articles about this shit. Warn that making sure your date was feeling would not. Forced warning that making sure your date was feeling would not mitigate the risk of being exposed. If everybody would only transmit when they're sick, that would be much easier. But what we're seeing is that there's a considerable amount of transmission from an asymptomatic person. But I thought that's what you're trying to stop. So why even tell people they go take the risk? Have you noticed look at this. You want to know the truth of why he said this as an astrologer? He's a Capricorn, by the way. I don't know if you all know that. With all these planets here, okay? This motherfucker did this shit for fame, right? So it's like, okay? Why did this fool do this? This was the picture of him this summer. You think he's cool with his wife? You think this fool in the middle of a pandemic is taking fucking pictures in Hollywood by a pool and shit, energetically wise, with sunglasses on, like he's a cool motherfucker. And got all big from it. In style. Look at this. This was like the cover of the magazine. Right? Look at, they got them all hooked up with some kicks. Look at, those are fresh new pants. I was in Hollywood. I had done many TV shows and many shoots. I look at all this shit, right? Oh, keep your Casio watch to make sure you look fucking official. But you know, he says it's okay to go fuck if you're willing to take the risk. Doesn't state ages either. People forget about this. Love always wins. If you're going to treat your life and you're going to be afraid and you're going to feel that you're a plague, but it's okay to plague in a Tinder situation, but I guess it's not okay to plague anywhere else. I guess that's the only place. Maybe because he's on Tinder and he's just been trying to hook up. I know he's married, but it's a good question to ask, especially since when Pluto went into Capricorn, Tiger Woods, we all know what he did. He's a Capricorn. Mel Gibson fell with Pluto Capricorn. Do you want me to go on the list? He looks pretty comfortable. That's how you sell a story. He's relatable. He's cool. Yeah, I guess tell people it's okay to fuck on Tinder, but everybody else isn't allowed to do shit. You can only take the risk for hooking up, but you're not allowed to take the risk anywhere else in your life. It's because love always wins. But love is more than having sex. That's what I had to learn, or having a girlfriend. That's what I had to learn when I was 19, when I had my awakening, and when I went to raves. I had to learn that love was more than just love of my mom and girlfriend. It was love of all people. It was love of all things. That love was everywhere. That God was everywhere. And it reminds me that the dark itself falls even to love. And it reminds me that if the top person that we all have to listen to is telling you that, why is all this other stuff out there like this? It's the biggest false story ever told. And the biggest sell point of all time. That was to keep people like in April. Oh yeah, it's all going to be all right. You can take risks with that and all that shit. And then people thought, oh yeah, the summer and whatever. Fucking, I predicted all this. I told you all. I'm just trying to tell you that at the end of the day, anything that's trying to tell you to not love in all aspects of your life. It's funny though, because obviously love and relationship and hookup is a big deal to Fauci. It got to him where he even said, And it got to him to where he had to actually be like, yeah, you know what? Take the risk. How am I going to stop? I can't. Because nobody, no matter how dark they might be, nobody in this world is going to be able to be as dark as to turn off their heart and love. And if they are, they already are the darkest. But what's sad is they've sold people, and people have actually bought this, and they actually have turned that heart off. But the people who are telling you to turn it off can't even do it themselves. But yet they have recruited a bunch of troops out there, and that is where you've been spelled. That's just truth. And that's all you have to do to sell the story. Make them look cool. Although I don't think that makes them look cool, but you know what I'm talking about? Like, really? I wonder how many people supposedly died that day while he was out with a camera crew getting makeup on. Do you think they're wearing masks with makeup? How was the wardrobe people, the lighting people, the photographer? You think there was a lot of chit-chat going on? You know there was. How many photo shoots have you been on? I've been on a shit ton in my life. You spend 8 hours for just that picture. So you think he was worried about the state of affair of people during that picture in the summer? These are the false gurus. Have you questioning love? Well, you know. What's better than finding something that is impossible to fix? You could have it, you could have this, you could have that, but you might not be, you might be showing signs, you might not be, you must take this test, and delay your life, and like there's no fucking cure for this except for living in your happiness in the story of your truth. And what is the truth? Of the embodiment of the being that you are, and the truth of that being, and the expression of that being, and the expression of your heart, and living without the fear of that heart. That is the only way you make it through life. When you are stressed, when you are fearful, when you are lost in the cloaking of a story and you're questioning it, because everybody questions it. Don't kid yourself. I'm an astrologer giving you this. This is not just coming from my personal beliefs. This is just coming from astrology and giving you facts. That's a fact. That's a real picture, right? Goes full silver fox, July 19th, 2020. Huh. Has been expertly styled. Wow. Yeah, and then that was when Brad Pitt played him too. Look at him go poolside with sunglasses. He deserves every minute he's able to relax. This was not on a day of him relaxing. This was a set shoot for a magazine. Given that he's basically been single-handedly handed down. So he's out there dealing with all the people. Yeah. Oh, I love that line. Frankie Alduno certainly captured him at his trustworthy, medical professional best. What an unbelievable opportunity to spend time with the man who's given our nation a calming voice of sanity. Yeah, that's a calming voice of sanity, right? It actually is. This is the only calming voice of sanity that I've actually heard, and it's only one line. If you are willing to take a risk, and you know everybody has their own tolerance of risks, you could figure out if you want to meet somebody, and it depends on the level of the interaction that you want to have. That's the only line of sanity that he has ever said that has come out of all of 2020, period. Period. That's the only line of sanity that there has been. And I have searched every story for this last 9-10 months. I warned people about this shit. And I start saying, if you watch it's for free. Only on highvibe.tv. I'm not putting that thing on YouTube with the way things are going. It's free under our free section. You can go get the app for free. You can go to highvibe.tv, go to the free section. It's right on the watch page, and watch my pre-2020 survival guide. Because what's next? Oh, your genes and that person's genes, you shouldn't be together. That's Gattaca shit. Watch Gattaca. That's the only line of sanity in 2020. Well, I don't know if you all saw this either. Look at this. New report highlights how Hollywood has dodged COVID-19 restrictions. I don't know if you saw that video. This woman had to close down a restaurant, but a movie shoot was able to all eat outside right next door. But because it's a movie shoot, that's okay. And you know what? I'm in media, so I come under these same rules. So I'm allowed to shoot. But I do it in my studio, but still. Have funneled tens of thousands into lobbying efforts in an attempt to receive more lax guidelines from the state. For example, Warner Brothers spent $22,500 on lobbyists contacting Gavin Newsom's office for COVID outreach TV film production, and Netflix spent a whopping $70,000 per quarter on their lobbying efforts. The report notes that Netflix increased lobbying spending includes increased fees to Axiom Advisors, a lobbying firm founded by Jason Kennedy. Kinney was the individual at his 50th birthday party that fateful night at the French Laundry. Hollywood's lobbying efforts has apparently paid off as entertainment workers were curiously listed as essential workers in April and were notably exempted from the state's new curfew order that was issued in November. Moi. Or that 8 companies partially owned by the governor received almost $3 million in Paycheck Protection Program, which raised some eyebrows since one company received $1 million despite only having 14 employees. Or this is all San Francisco Gate, so this is like real stuff, especially because San Francisco used to be where the Chinese opium dens were in the beginning of the end of the 19th century and the beginning of the 20th century, right? Look that up. Where do you think they're showing right now that the hub of everything from China is? SF. Again. Increasingly concerned about recall efforts. Has already survived 5 long-shot recall attempts in 2 years. We've tried to recall them 5 times from other stuff. But this, close to home, reportedly worried about the current recall effort amidst frustration over his handling of this pandemic could prove successful. Near the bottom of the Political report, Newsom's chief of staff, Ann O'Leary, preparing to depart Sacramento for a potential job in the Biden administration, rests this spicy nugget. As Newsom begins his 3rd full year in office, the governor's team is increasingly concerned with a long-shot conservative recall that could mushroom into a major threat in 2021 if it attracts significant financial support. Why? Because if you look at the amount of signatures that are already in, organizers have until March 17th to gather 1.5 million. They already have 800,000, but will need a large influx of cash to get the last 500,000. They don't need cash. I just watched all through Southern California this weekend pop-up tents everywhere with lines going down the street of people signing. That's courage. Or this will be the last story show. Oh, God. Yeah. That's the light looking right at you. That's the light looking right at you too. Boom, 6 hours ago. With his star dimmed, could face recall. He's had a rough year. Yeah, he's had a rough year. Eating at the French Laundry. Telling people to put masks on and eat with your mask on. But he doesn't do that. So, he's a governor. Or let's just use Trump. You think Trump fucking... What? He doesn't wear no mask, and then everybody tells you, oh, he's not wearing masks. These people aren't wearing masks. You think they know all the truth? They know the data? You think they're scared? They made you scared, but why aren't they wearing it? After the birthday party, which was just a month ago, he's a Libra. Wow, so he's getting, which could help repair frayed relationships with legislators and bring sharper political instincts to his office. Newsom just named D.D. Myers a former Warner Brothers executive. Oh, I thought they were just lobbying. And White House press secretary. Oh, look at that. To Bill Clinton as director of the governor's office, right? The prospect of recall election is reviving memories of California's circus-like 2003 recall in which voters installed Schwarzenegger as the governor after depositing the unpopular Democrat Gray Davis. I'll never forget that. That was 2003. What is exactly the eclipse cycle that I just told you all about tonight for this eclipse? 2002, December 4th. That eclipse brought on the recall of that California governor and brought in Arnold Schwarzenegger. The light's going to win. Trust that shit. And remember, you got to use you got to use facts. It's okay to do Tinder, but it's not okay to do your family. It's okay to go to the French Laundry and not wear a mask, but it's not okay for you to go do anything else. It's okay for you to go to do photo shoots by the pool in the middle of a pandemic where you don't look worried and you're trying to look cool. In the middle when it's supposed to be the most dangerous time of our lives. I love you all very much. Don't forget the light wins. That's the main part of this eclipse. And be part of highvibe.tv. I'm here every day for you. I do videos every day, weekly sun sign horoscopes, weekly everything intuitive. So many awesome shows. We have so many awesome talent on there. I love you all very much. I'm sending you my best. Have a good eclipse. I'm going to be doing spiritual dance music. I don't know when. Craig is out of surgery, but he is off for the next week, recovering. So I'll be on Deep Love Tarot tomorrow, Monday night, and gonna find a way to do spiritual dance music. So I love y'all. I'm sending you all my best, and stay in the light. Don't be afraid. It's gonna win, but you have to own the light. You can't be afraid of that. That's the edginess of Aquarius coming in, right? You got to be the rebel. That all the rebel is holding love. Don't think of yourself as a rebel in a negative context for holding love and being love. Don't buy this story anymore. Don't South Node yourself in Sag. Don't start believing it's okay. Don't start getting all easy and being it's okay the way they have life, because then they'll flip the script. And then they know you're already subjective and easy to go this way. Oh, whatever's next, you'll be easy enough to lay down for that too. Don't be afraid of truth. Live in truth. I love you all.